For all of the people out there who send their horses off to trainers and expect them to come back in 60 or 90 days with all of their problems fixed, how many horses do you think are out there that would do the exact same with their humans if they could? It's just something that was posed on the social media of a trainer that I follow a long time ago, actually, and it's really stuck with me and helped to shape my own personal philosophy around teaching and training. If I'm not working with you on fixing your own stumbling blocks and obstacles that might be in your own path, we're not going to actually ever be able to fix your horse's problems completely. It's one thing for you to pass me your horse and have me kind of do some magic and fix all of their issues, but then when I send them back to you, you need to be able to also maintain that. That's what we're going to be talking about today: how to fix any problem that your horse might be having, how to go about finding real solutions that are going to create lasting change and really transform your relationship with your horse. That's what we're after. Hi, I'm Ruby. I'm a whole horsemanship trainer, and I help horses and their humans just like you to build a deeper connection and stronger bond so that you can enjoy more time with your horse and have more of the magic that we all get into riding for. And also to help you to really find more meaning in the day-to-day, because that's kind of what it's really all about. Today we're going to be talking about how to fix any problem that your horse might be having, and I really do mean any problem. I see problems ranging from like really dangerous things like super reactive horses or horses that buck or bolt or whatever, all the way to really minor things like not standing at the mounting block, being hard to catch, and other kind of just like seemingly from the outside small things, but they really do wear at your ability to enjoy your horse. I actually see this so often that I have created an entire course all about this called Foundations. There's information about that below, and we'll talk about it more as we go through this video today, but it's something that is so prevalent that I have even felt compelled to like really create a lot of resources for you around that. So if you want more, there is more. But for the purpose of today's video, we're going to start at the beginning. So several years ago now, I was called out to a farm with it wasn't even a farm actually, it was just his house. It was just a really kind older gentleman, and he had these horses that were his late wife's, and she really loved them. They were all rescues, and they all had some kind of trauma in their past to begin with, which is not uncommon for me. I work with a lot of horses with similar stories. But what was different about this case was that these horses had been living in his backyard completely untouched except for feed and water daily for 5 years. So no veterinary care, no farrier care. Their tails were literally matted from top to bottom. And this man felt really bad about this, but he didn't know anything about horses and didn't know where to start. And the horses had basically become feral. You couldn't catch them, you couldn't touch them. So even if we wanted to have a farrier come out and work with them, that was just an impossible task. And so I started going very diligently, at least 3 days a week, and working with these horses, and I got them to the point where I could put a halter on them. I cut their tails off so that they could regrow without tangles. And I even got them actually to the point that we could have a vet out to get them at least caught up on vaccines, have their teeth checked, and then have their hooves trimmed. Without any sedation. It was really amazing actually when I think back on it, because it was a lot of work to get to that point. But what the problem was that once we got to the point that we could do all of these things with the horses, my job was over, and he didn't need me anymore as a trainer, but I didn't really have the time to just take out of my life to keep going and taking care of these horses every day. So we ended up finding somebody else to take over those duties. But what I learned was that if I'm not also working with the person, these horses, I don't even know where they are anymore. Who knows? They might have gone right back to the state that they were in before, or maybe he found them a home. I'm not entirely sure, but what I do know is that without working with the person, the human in the equation, all of that hard work that I did over months and months to get those horses to stand for the farrier and to be vaccinated and all of those things, just all comes right back undone again. So just to really drive home the point about, you need to also be doing the work on yourself. I say often that nothing is ever the horse's fault. Every problem that we see in a horse stems originally from something that some human in their life has done to them or for them or around them. And often it starts as something really benign. You know, we talked in a recent video about horses that become mouthy from eating too many treats. It comes from love. We want to give our horse treats, but we don't think about the ripple effect of potentially creating a horse that has a biting problem or that is really grabby or pushy. And so, you know, even though we don't have any bad intention, we sometimes accidentally create these problems in our horses. And so without really looking at yourself and getting help for yourself, it's going to be really difficult for your horse to actually overcome any issue that they're facing. So quick, hard truth reality check. We're going to start with looking at at you as well right from the beginning of this process. Okay, so we're ready to fix any problem your horse has. The very first step in the process is actually to evaluate the problem and whether it's even something that needs to be fixed. So an example I think about often, I frequently have people who come to me and because I work especially with a lot of rescue horses, their horse won't pick up one lead or the other. And I even have actually a horse in my lesson program right now that doesn't pick up his left lead very well. And because he's a really good horse and he's very well trained and he's very honest and puts in a hard day's work every single day of his entire life, and this is kind of his retirement plan, is teaching lessons, on the days that he doesn't pick up the left lead, I don't pick on him or his students about it because I know that he can, and I also know that if he was comfortable enough in his body to do it, he would. And the fact that he's picking up the wrong lead lets me know that he's just feeling maybe a little bit extra stiff and sore that day, and so it's not something that I need to really push with him. So if somebody comes to me, let's say you come to me today and you say, my horse has a hard time picking up the correct lead, my very first question would be, why does your horse need to pick up the correct lead? What is it about what you do with your horse or the goals that you have for you and your horse that makes you need to be able to pick up the correct lead? And if you said something to me like, I am showing and that's important for showing, or for the sport that we're in, or I want to do all of these like really high level athletic things, or I want to be able to jump even if it's just for fun, and it's really important that my horse is correctly balanced coming to the jump, and so I need to be on the correct lead, yes, absolutely, let's go fix that problem. But if you said, I just really need my horse to be on the right lead just because that's how it's supposed to be and that's all there is to it, even though all we do is just kind of meander around the arena and maybe go down the trail every now and then, I would really say, like, is this really something that's worth your energy and your horse's energy to try to fix? And if not, is there something else that we could be spending that time and energy on that would really improve your experience of your horse? So unconventional as it is, really taking a minute to think about what is the problem that I'm facing, and is it really something that I need to fix, or is it just something that's kind of like unconventional but isn't really causing a problem for me and my horse in our day-to-day life? The second step is going to be to find a skilled trainer with an aligned philosophy and values to yours. This is really important because there are so many trainers out there, and there are just about as many solutions to any problem you could probably name as there are trainers in this world. And so finding the trainer that has the experience and the knowledge and also has an aligned philosophy is really, really important. If you bring your horse to a trainer that promises they'll get them on the correct lead, but they do it with like a lot of punishments and rewards and big whips and big spurs, and that doesn't feel right to you, not only are you going to carry some guilt, but also you're probably not going to continue doing whatever they teach you to do when the trainer's work is done. And so it's just going to all come undone again anyway, and you're going to be right back at square one. So finding somebody with a philosophy and values and a process that you can really get behind and that you want to learn about and that compels you to actually want to go and do the same work with your horse when the trainer's work is done is really, really vital to actually being able to create lasting change in your horse. And then the third and final step is to never stop learning. Even when you think you've fixed the problem and everything is way, hunky-dory back on the track that you want it to be, always keep pushing yourself to learn more. Always keep pushing your horse to learn more. You can always do better. There's always more to learn. There's always more to do. And the more you learn, the better caretaker you will be for your horse and the better partner you will be on this amazing team that you and your horse are creating. If you're wanting some really amazing resources to keep learning, definitely check out my Magic Moments playlist. Every weekend I post something there that is a bite-sized, tangible thing that you can do over the weekend to help improve your relationship with your horse. And if you want to go even deeper, check out my Foundations workshop that's linked below. I only run it once a year, so if you're seeing this in the future and it's already gone, just hop on the wait list for the next one. And in that one, we go really, really in depth over 8 weeks into all of the major kind of little things that wear at our ability to enjoy our horses. And at the end, my promise to you is that you will have a horse that's more enjoyable to be around and that you will be a more enjoyable person for your horse to be around, and you'll both just have a much better, happier relationship. So if that sounds like something that would be beneficial for you, check that out below. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video, and make sure to hug your horse for me.